Hey everyone, it's JP. I've got another bracelet design for you. This one's another really simple one and a great if you're a beginner. So basically we're making rings and I'm calling it my rings and bloom. Okay, there's alliteration there I can't pronounce. Rings and bloom bracelet. Alright, so this unit right here is 1 inch and you need a total of 9 beads. Both of these beads are 4 millimeters. So this is 4 millimeter pearl, it's a round bead. This is also a round bead. This one's just a faceted round is the only difference. And so that is 1 inch. So that gives you an idea as to how many beads you'll need to make a bracelet for your particular size that you want. Also, these are 11 seed beads, and so this color is Creamrose Swarovski pearls. This color was bought from Michael's and they're just a faceted round and it's like a topaz. It didn't really give me a color, I'm making it up. It's kind of a brown, bronzy color, so a dark bronze type color, but very pretty. And my seed beads are Miyuki. You can use Tohos if you don't have Miyuki, but this is what I'm using. It's galvanized rose gold from Aurora Crystals. You'll also need some firelines. I used a 6-pound smoke or crystal, doesn't matter. And you'll need a clasp of your choice. So I've used a lobster claw here. It's copper to match the colors, but that's it. Let's get started. Okay, so to start, what you're gonna do is pick up a pearl, then 3 seed beads, a pearl, and 3 seed beads. So you're going to do this 4 times. So basically you want 4 pearls and 3 sets of seed beads in between. So a total of 12 pearls, or 12 11 O's there. So, and then what I'm going to do is just go back through all the beads because you're going to make a ring. And make sure you don't accidentally skip over a seed bead. That I tend to do. So just got to warn you too. And there we go. So hold on to the tail, because that's another thing I do, is if I don't hold on to the tail, I won't make that ring. And there's the ring. So I'm just gonna tie a knot between the tail and my thread here. I don't want to leave a very long tail because I'm going to go ahead and weave the knot in further anyway, so don't need a ton. So basic square knot, nothing fancy. And there you have it. So that's what you should get. Go ahead and go into the pearl to pull the knot in, and then just go through some of the seed beads too and come out of the next pearl. Okay, so now what you're going to do is actually we're going to force these beads to pop up and form like a picot. So what you're going to do is pick up an 11 and then just go into the next pearl. So you're coming out of that pearl and you just want to go into the next one. And see how that forces the beads together and comes together. So I'm going to do this, just push them out and then go ahead and pick up an 11 and go into the next 4 millimeter bead. So if you're using a pearl, then it's a pearl or whatever 4 millimeter you are using. And as you can see, and again, I'm going to push that out. I'm going to pick up my 11 and I'm going to just go into the pearl. I kind of like this look that it creates, and here's my last one. And once again, all I did was pick up 111 and I'm just going to go in through the pearl. And so you can just tug on the beads to get them to pop up, and then give everything a nice tug, and you'll feel this is a nice solid ring at this point. So now what you want to do is just come up through the 11s here. I'm coming out of the pearl, and I'm going to come up through the first two, and I'm going to make my loop for my clasp. And I'm going to pick up 4 11s, go back through just that middle one, go through the first 11 in my newly added group of 4. So I always like to make that diamond shaped loop, so sort of my signature. Here, pick up an 11, go into the next 11. If you watch many of my videos, you will see me do this often. I make it as a bracelet loop and also as a ear wire loop. So I picked up another 11, I went into the next 11 there. And now I repeat one last time. I pick up an 11, and I will go into the next 11, and then also that middle bead in the group of 3 seed beads here. So it's essentially going through 2 here, but you're basically starting where you started. You're getting back to where you started. So you can see and there it is. There's my diamond shaped pattern. I'm going to go back through the beads one more time to reinforce this, but it's already got 2 sets of threads in it, because remember, you make the first loop with the group of 4, and then you're adding in those beads in between. So it's actually a reinforced loop as it is, but it doesn't hurt to do it one more time. And back around. So I'm just going to go through the one and then go through the other seed bead. Sometimes, because you're coming in at an angle, it doesn't always work as easily. So be patient, take your time, and you should still be okay. So now I want to get to the other side, because this is done, and it's time to start the next ring in the bracelet, or to add to the bracelet. And there we are. So now to add the next group, what you're going to do is pick up 1 11, followed by another one of your 4mm beads. So I'm switching to my faceted round now instead of the pearl. Then another 11 and another 4mm. And just push those down to the bottom of the thread. Now pick up 3 11s, the 4mm, then just 1 11, the 4mm, and whoops, that one flew off the needle there. All right. And one more 11 here is all you need. So the pattern, and I will point that out here in just a second just so you can see what I'm doing, is I'm just going back around just that middle 11 there. All right, so there's 3 11s here, and then there's 3 11s here. Then on this side, it's just 1 11. So when you're adding, you got to take into account that middle 11 as part of the group of 3. So you're adding 1, then a 4mm, then 1 11, a 4, then it's 3 to match that side, and then the 4, the 1, the 4, because now the sides all match. So just to make sure you understand, since this one's a shared bead, it sort of comes off a little differently. And then all you're going to do is reinforce, so go back around all of the beads to make sure we get a nice secure little ring. So one side, and okay, so make sure you give that a good tug and that all the beads are, or there's no slack in the thread. You want it to kind of push these together as you're pulling on your thread. Then what you're going to do is you want to go through an 11, a 4mm, and 11. You want to come out of this 11 that's on the side. And I grabbed the tail thread here, so I just want to make sure I pull that out. And this is where you should be. Now you can either put a Monty here in the center if you like, or do what I'm doing is pick up your other 4mm. So if you're using two different colors. So note my thread is going in that direction. So when I pick up my 4mm, I want to go to this seed bead and go in the opposite direction. Like so, and you want to push these together so you're not going to see the thread. And it'll take a second here. So now go back through the pearl. So I'm keeping this loose so that you can see what I'm doing, but you can see how this is going to form like a loop between these three beads. So go back through this for whatever bead you're using, my 4mm here, and then I need to go into this seed bead one more time. So as you can see, the thread's coming out on that side, so I want to make sure that I go in from this side. So it's essentially going in from the opposite side. And give that a good tug. So, and there you have it. The clear thread shows up a lot more than the dark thread does. So I used, so if you use the darker fireline, you won't see it as much as this is showing up. And you can always use the Sharpie and color that in. But give it a good give it a good tug, and that'll keep the beads nice and close together. And then you can go through it one more time. I'm gonna, for the sake of time, skip over that part. And I went through this bead and then followed up by going through the next set of beads. And again, I want to come out of this one. So now we're going to make this ring again on the side now. So, and again, you're going to do the same thing you did before. Note that we already have this one, 11, that's shared. So then we need another 11 and then a pearl. Then you want to pick up 3 11s. And a pearl, which I'm going to bring these down. So that's what I've got so far. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the pearl and then 3 more again. And then the pearl. So far I've got my 3 out of 4 pearls in, 3 11s, my 4th pearl, and to finish off my ring here, my last 11 here. So every pearl has 3 11s between them. So if you look, once I go back through here, so there's 3 there, 3, 3, and 3. So it just happens to share the bead with the previous ring, that's all. All right, so I'm just going to flip this over so I can work from the left side because I'm a lefty. And I'm just going to go ahead and go through the beads. One more time to reinforce. Oh, don't let that loop. And the thread wants to wrap around everything. Give everything a good tug. Now come out of a pearl. Pick up an 11 and go into the next pearl. And you see how the beads just popped up. May take a little bit to find the hole, but there it is. And we're going to just repeat like we did before. So I'm just going to pick up my 11 here, go into the next pearl. And again, picking up 111, going into the next pearl there, and just giving everything a tug and pushing it together. And one more time, last one here, because we need one there. I'm just going to turn it so I can go in. And there's our second ring. So there you have that. It's all done. And now you just want to come out of this bead here, and we're just going to repeat what we did before. So I'm going to show you how to make this second ring again with the faceted rounds that I'm using, and then you can continue on your own. So I just worked my way over to that center bead here in this group of 3. So we're just going to make the same thing we did here. And again, there's always 3 beads between these group beads here. So, and one of these is shared. So we're going to pick up just one. Then the 4mm. Then again, this is the one on the side part here. And this is here. So there's just 111 between the 4mm at that point. And now you're going to pick up 3, followed by another 4mm. So that we're here at this part, and that's what those are for. And then again, another one here for the side. And so basically it's 11, 4mm, and the 11. And then you're just going to go back through that middle 11 and back into the new set of beads. So I'm going into the next 11. And there you got it, have it. Go ahead and reinforce the circle. Just going through all the beads. Push this together as you pull your thread so they fall into place. And then you want to come out of that 11 there. And add that center bead. If you're adding a Monty, it's pretty much the same thing. You're just going to work with the crisscross Monty. So again, note the direction of the thread. The thread is going in that direction, so I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So if you're right-handed and following me, then you might be going in the other direction. So that's, I'm trying not to state directions. So even though that's going off towards the left, I'm trying not to say that just in case you're working in a different direction. And then go back through the pearl, so it's coming out of that bead there. I'm going to go back in through it, tighten that up, remove, get it as close as possible, and then again you want to go into this 11 here from the opposite side. So note the thread is coming up and going in, so I'm going to go in from the opposite side. So if you note, there is a loop between these three beads to keep them connected together. And then you just make your way out to the 11 in the center. And of course you can go back through these beads one more time if you don't feel that they're tight enough. But there it is. And you just want to keep going until you have the length that you need. All right, so if you've made your bracelet or if you've continued adding length, this is what you should have your bracelet looking like. So I'm just going to show you how to make the loop for your clasp again, just like I did on this side. So we're just going to make the matching loop and your bracelet should be complete. So again, you want to come out of the center bead, which we've basically been doing throughout the bracelet, and you're going to pick up 4 11s, go back through just the center bead. I'm just going to turn the work so I can work on this side. And let's get that to focus a little better. Go through the first 11 in that group of 4. So you're not adding anything at this point. Just like that. Then pick up 1 and go into the next 11. And again, pick up an 11, go into this next one here. And one more time. Pick up an 11, go into the next 2 11s if you can. If not, just go into the next one. But I got the 2. And then reinforce. So I'm basically going 1 or 2 beats at a time. So I just went through 1 and 2 that time. And now I'm going to go ahead and just start tying off. So I'm just going to go through the 2 11s and then just make a 1/2 inch knot between the 11 and the pearl. And trying to make sure the thread stays between the 2 beads that I want. And then just go into the pearl, and we're just going to repeat that one more time. So there we go again. So and through the pearl, and we're ready to trim the thread. You could do a 3rd one if you want. I think we're pretty good here, especially since we've reinforced all the rings. Okay, so and there's my bracelet. So I'm just going to add the clasp on. So I'm just going to put a couple of jump rings into the rings there. And I don't think I brought a clasp with me. I just realized I didn't grab it out of my little drawers to add. But anyway, it's a simple lobster claw clasp is what I'm going to be doing. So there it is. There's our bracelet. And I hope you like this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.